Coming from the same developers that brought us Max Payne's 1 and 2 along with 2019's Control, Alan Wake was always the one game on Xbox that I wish had been released on the PlayStation back in 2010, as its overall premise and focus on story would have fit perfectly for me, but now that it has been remastered and released on the PlayStation 5, I can officially say that this game was well worth the wait, as it has quickly become one of the best games I have played this year. The main story has you take control of best-selling crime fiction author Alan Wake as he and his wife Rose take a vacation to the small mountain town of Bright Falls. Now, it's been 2 years since Alan's last novel was published, and Rose believes that by seeing a special psychologist there, he'll be able to find some inspiration for his next book. However, not long after hearing his wife Rose scream, he suddenly finds himself in a crashed car and discovers that a week has gone by with no signs of his wife or the cabin that they were staying in. He then encounters some shadowy figures similar to the ones he's been seeing in his dreams, and using a flashlight and a gun, he manages to fight his way back into town. He then reunites with his friend Barry and receives several phone calls that his wife has been kidnapped, and in order to get her back, Alan must recover pages from a manuscript that he has no memory of writing, while teaming up with the locals in town in order to fight off the darkness and discover its source so that he can save his wife and help release the little town from the grip of the powerful dark force. As a thriller, this game did a phenomenal job at creating mystery and suspense while never giving the full picture and allowing you, the player, to discover things in a straightforward way that doesn't confuse you by the end. I personally found it interesting that the story was told in an episodic format, giving you a recap of what had happened in the previous chapter, similar to that of a TV show. The presentation here was even more with a great set of cast of characters. Alan Wake as a character is a rather unexpected protagonist, as he is thrown right into a situation that he knows he's completely unequipped for, but he nevertheless rises to the challenge and develops as a character who is dealing with a lot of personal struggles in his mind, and this helps Alan have a lot of amounts of depth. While this treatment is not done to the same extent for the supporting cast of characters, they nevertheless do their parts very well while providing some moments of entertainment and humor that I really wasn't expecting to work as well as it did. While the main antagonist very much takes a backseat and is not really given much time to fully explain their motivations, I feel that it is the scenario itself that is the threat, and I believe that this sense of constant danger really helps you stay aware of the threats and needs to always stay on your toes, as the mystery of new dangers that will appear will always be presented in the story as you progress. The gameplay for Alan Wake itself should not entirely be viewed as a survival horror, but it does contain elements that does place this game in that category while adding strong elements of exploration and mystery. When it comes to exploration, you'll be exploring a series of different locations all around the area of Bright Falls, and you will need to collect resources in order to help you progress. These sections are divided into night and day, in which during the day it mainly focuses on collecting resources and gaining exposition on the main plot, while all the combat sections happen at night. There are a couple of different collectible items like coffee thermos flasks, and along with a single Easter egg that supports its connection to another one of Remedy's game, Control. As you progress, you can find up to 100 pages from your manuscript that you can read, and these pages will describe either events that you've already experienced or events that you will encounter later on in the game. During combat, Alan has a limited amount of health and running stamina to rely on. Health will restore automatically after a period of time in which you are not getting hit, or when you choose to stand under a source of light like a light post. The enemy variety is divided between people and inanimate objects that have been taken over by the darkness. There aren't many traditional bosses throughout the game, but you will have to take on large, fast-moving construction vehicles that can take you out with a single hit. In order to fight off your enemies, you will have to use sources of light, either from your flashlight or flares, in order to break your enemy's connection to the darkness, which will then leave you open to your firearms. Now, the weapons that you can collect over the course of the game range from a revolver, 2 types of shotguns, a single-shot hunter's rifle, and a flare gun that pretty much acts as a grenade launcher, and flashbangs that serve as the standard grenades. During combat, you will have access to a dodge function if enemies get too close or if your stamina is depleted while running. It also can be helpful to use the environment itself to your advantage, as searchlights can be used to take out large groups of enemies. You can also collect batteries that you can use to power up your flashlights, as focusing light on your enemies to break their connection to the darkness will cause your batteries to drain, and using batteries will recharge them while in use. This is a resource-heavy game, as the amount of enemies that you will encounter is pretty high, so I suggest that you explore your area and find boxes of equipment that can help you out, as there is no upgrade system of any kind, meaning that you have to use your arsenal effectively and make every shot count. There are some driving sections throughout the game which will allow you to explore larger areas much faster while using the headlights to help you run down enemies, but these sections are very few. The only flaws I can think of is the fact that there are quite a number of forced walking sections that slow the game down, and while one would expect these sections to provide some exposition that should help you understand the plot more, that is unfortunately not the case, as they're only here to draw out certain sections of the game to make them be longer than they have to be. Despite these sections, the game is not overly long, as the main story can be completed in about 9 hours, with it taking another 3 to 6 hours to find all the extra collectibles. This remastered version of Alan Wake also comes with the 2 main DLCs, providing even more after you've completed the main story. When it comes to its game design department, when compared to the original game, the visuals have indeed been improved upon by a great deal, while maintaining a great soundtrack of songs that fits the mysterious tone that Alan Wake was going for. I encountered no technical problems of any kind, with the game running extremely smooth on my PlayStation 5, providing me one of the best experiences I've had with the game this year. Okay, I just have to say right now that I've actually had the chance to actually go out of my way to actually play Alan Wake for the first time since it was released almost 10 years ago, now that it's been remastered, I can say I had a blast playing this game. I absolutely love it. This is exactly the style of games that I've really enjoyed playing, and it ended up being without question one of the best horror games that I've ever played. Now, I can't really speak on in terms of what they actually added or changed or improved in terms of the remaster compared to the original, but whatever changes they added, I'm sure it was for the best. I thought that the whole use of light and darkness element I thought worked. I thought Alan Wake as a character was very well realized. I thought the music, the atmosphere, the gameplay, everything really worked in this. And it's just a shame that I'm not even sure if they're going to do a sequel, but this is absolutely a game that I would absolutely be up for doing a sequel, even though it may be unlikely, but I'm just saying, this was a fantastic game. This really should have come out on PlayStation a decade ago. But heck, it's out now, so I'm not complaining anymore. So overall, if I had to give Alan Wake a rating, I think a good score to give it would be an 8.5 out of 10. Now, if you're someone like me who was mainly a PlayStation gamer back in the day and you didn't get a chance to play Alan Wake but you were curious about it, I absolutely recommend that you go out of your way to at least try out getting your own copy or at least renting it in some form or another, because it is absolutely worth a full price in my opinion. So that is my thoughts on Alan Wake Remastered. If you did happen to play this game yourself, what were your thoughts on it? Do you guys think it was absolutely worth the wait of waiting or not? Or heck, what were some things about it that you liked or didn't like about it? Share your thoughts with me and everyone else in the comments down below. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will catch you all next time.